Well, I just saw that PlayStation has decided in 2028 all physical media will cease for their consoles. Discs will no longer be a thing and everything will be digital, digital, digital. You will own nothing and be happy. It's very Orwellian. Yeah, I woke up to those headlines this morning. Facebook and Reddit was plastered with it everywhere. And long story short, discs are out for PlayStation, and hate to say it, but I believe they'll be out for Xbox soon, and perhaps cartridges will be gone on the Switch 3, who knows. Yeah, the loss of physical media has been happening since Netflix and Spotify and all of those things came to fruition, when companies realized, oh, we can just license you our media, and the second we want to take it away or sell it to another company, we can. I know that Paramount Plus just acquired Harry Potter, so that's jumping streaming services again. And as I said, if you want to watch something that's likely it's going to be on a streaming platform you don't have, and then you got to go pay another subscription and blah blah blah, and yeah, it's not great. I'm particularly worried about games, because just like we've seen with games like Control, I know Control's not a great example, it's a terrible game, but they completely pulled it. People that paid for it, it just got, it evaporated. It didn't exist anymore. PlayStation just got rid of 500 films from their library because of a licensing issue. So all the people that bought those 500 films just gone from their library. That ownership wasn't ownership. And that's what's going to happen with games. If they decide, actually, we don't want you to have that game anymore, off it goes. Even though you've paid your hard-earned money in this economy, you've been paying for media, which is hard enough as it is. People are struggling to make ends meet. The really big thing for me is that second-hand market. What they've done is meant you can't just buy the game and sell it on to a friend once you've finished with it and recoup a bit of the cost, because let's face it, in New Zealand games are $140. When I went to Dubai, Mario Kart World was 180 New Zealand dollars, which is like insane. I know in the UK games are hitting like £80. Like it's so much money. That's like more than a day's work for some people. And when you're just trying to make ends meet, you do actually need to sell on your games. A lot of people do have to sell on their games so they can play games, and with digital media, that's gone. In some regards, I can't believe I'm saying this, the game key cards are better than this, because at least you can resell them, and Nintendo is probably the last company that is showing they are for the consumer and they're not eating into that corporate greed. You know, I'd rather have a game keycard than nothing, I'll tell you that, because at least I can resell it and, you know, share it. Whereas once you've paid for a game digitally, there's no selling that game. What if you hate it? What if it's a terrible game that you don't like? You know, I've bought games, played a couple of hours, and be like, nah, it's not for me. Buy it digitally, you're stuck with it. I know on Steam and stuff you can refund games after, what, minimum 2 hours of play, I think. So if, yeah, you know what I'm getting at. You know what I'm getting at. It's quite scary. You will own nothing and be happy. There's something very special about owning physical media. Opening up that game case for the first time, opening up a book or a DVD case, or a Blu-ray, whatever. Opening up a CD or a record, looking at the gatefold and all the artwork. You know, I have a very vivid memory of buying Pokemon Heart Gold from EB Games in New Plymouth. And I went in and it was this big shiny gold box that said, "Buy me!" You know? It was thick, it was beautiful, it had texture, and inside was this magical little device called a Poker Walker. You know, games came with these big, thick manuals, they came with maps, they came with stickers, they came with steelbooks, and all of this amazing memorabilia to celebrate that, you know, thank you for buying our game and here's a little something. Gone. Gone. It's all I've got. You know, it's 7 in the morning, my brain's not quite ticking through with full sentences, but all I've got to say is it's gone. Yeah, it's pretty scary. I can't see books going out of fashion. There's something quite magical about holding a real book. The smell, the feel, the smell, the feel, the texture. There's nothing like having a real book in your hand. Same with DVDs. I watch far less television and far less films now that everything's on streaming, because I find it overwhelming. I open up Netflix and I'm like, oh my god, there's too much choice, and most of it's American slop. Sorry, there's some brilliant American stuff, but I really like my British telly, and I don't get any British television on Netflix pretty much. The New Zealand Netflix is very catered to American media. So quite often, even though I have Netflix, I don't even use it. My partner does. She's pretty good at just clicking on a show and being happy with it, but with that much choice, I just get overwhelmed and I end up scrolling and scrolling and I don't pick anything and I turn it off. We got rid of Disney because it went up to like $180 a year, which is just criminal. So the only streaming thing we have is Netflix, and that's actually covered by my phone plan. I don't even pay for Netflix because it's covered by Spark here in New Zealand. If I didn't have Spark, I probably wouldn't have Netflix. Because I can go to the op shop, buy a DVD for $2, or there's this beautiful second-hand media store that does books, records, CDs, Blu-rays, DVDs, the lot, called Xanadu and Papamoa. They do DVDs for $5. You know, I can just go and buy that, and once I've got it, I've got it. I don't have that overwhelming sense of, oh my god, there's too much to pick. I can just pick up and play, and it's the same with like Xbox Game Pass. God, I would just scroll and scroll and scroll. My attention would get shorter and shorter because I'm not going to stick with this game, I'm just going to jump to a new one. Yeah, it's pretty scary. I don't know how I feel about GDA 6 being digital only. I was so excited for that game, but I'm really sad that it's gone digital. Yeah, but what can we do with the little people? We have no say over these corporations, no say over what they do. We've just kind of got to take it on the chin. I mean, at the end of the day, you cannot buy digital games. That's the one thing as a consumer you can do, is not buy into it. But people still will. We're all sheep. As Roger Waters has sung about in Animals, we're all sheep and we will just follow blindly. And truly, I don't think there will be a revolt. I think people will just accept it. They'll be outraged for a couple of days and then they'll accept it and be like, oh, this stinks, but let's just get on with it. The one company that seems to be pro-consumer is Nintendo. Their consoles aren't $1,000. I got my partner's Nintendo Switch 2 for 600 New Zealand dollars, which is what, 6 times 6? 360 USD, I think. Yeah, I don't know the conversion rates very well, but you know, that's the cheapest console on the market, and it's pushing the power with AI and DLSS and blah-de-blah-de-blah of some PS5 games. It's portable, you own the games. Like, I know Game Keycards, the games you still got to download, but at least you got them and you can sell them when you're done with them, or you can share them with a friend. Same with like that digital thing. It's kind of like the DS download play where you can share with another console. They've got that, they're pro-consumer. A lot of their mainstream games, like Star Fox, are on the console, and I'm loving that Nintendo is bringing back these old games. Like Star Fox just came out, and I know it's the N64 game that's just been given a fresh coat of paint, but that game doesn't have DLC, It doesn't have microtransactions, it doesn't have ads popping up. It's just this beautiful little linear experience that is about the game and about the experience. It's not about buying more DLC, it's not about buying a game pass and leveling up and grinding and feeding into all their advertisements. It's just plug in and play. It's all on the cartridge, you don't have to think about it. You probably don't even need the internet to play it. You just pop it in and play it. And I believe they'll probably do the same with Ocarina of Time, you know? It's an N64 game, it's linear, it's short, and it's dense. So I'm driving past a really big lorry, if you can hear that. And, you know, if that's all in the cartridge, there's no microtransactions, there's no stupid DLC, or blah-de-blah-de-blah. You know, Nintendo's having a winning streak at the moment, bringing back these linear games. What have I been playing? I've been playing Pikmin 4. There's no DLC for that. What else have I been playing? Super Mario 3D World. No DLC for that. No downloads, no microtransactions. You just plug and play. I can sell it when I want it. Blah-de-blah-de-blah. I'm selling a copy of a game today. I'm selling Mario Party Superstars. Full game on the cartridge, and I can send it off when I'm done with it. With physical media, you can. And, you know, we're seeing this huge rise in, I don't want to call them piracy devices, but emulators. All over the internet, I see AN Thors, Retroids, I think they're called, Anbernic, all of these companies making these emulators that can play ROM files. And people are going back to these old games because they can physically download the file and have it. You know, they're not feeding into this stupid streaming service or anything. And I know that theft is a terrible thing, but you know, a lot of people are turning to these emulators. Same with like the anti-Amazon movement, because Kindle decided to shut down all of the older devices because they wanted you to buy a new one. And everyone bought these little e-readers that could play EPUB files from the internet. Again, you know, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to be quoted saying it, but you know the saying, if streaming isn't owning, then da-da-da-da-da. You know, you fill in the blank. And a lot of people are moving to that now. You see I think it's called the XTE Ink, or the X-Tink, X4 and the X3. The Books Palmer. There's millions and millions and millions of these emulators or these e-readers coming out because, you know, having a license to read something or to play something or to listen to something isn't owning it. You know, that's why you're seeing that huge influx of physical music media coming back, and I'm seeing a lot of people buying DVDs again, which is fantastic. So yeah, I just wanted to have a ramble. I don't know what the end in sight is. At the end of the day, Sony is a multi-billion, maybe trillion-dollar company, and the little guy doesn't have much say in what they decide to do, but we can always complain on the internet, and that's what we're very good at. That's what I'm very good at. And now that I've got it off my chest, I'll feel a little bit dandier. Any road, I'm going to continue buying physical media as long as I can. I think I'll end up having to go back to stuff like the DS and the PS2 and the PS3, but I'm quite content. There's millions of games in those libraries, and yeah, I will support the Switch 2 as long as I blooming well can. Physical media. I saw Oblivion's, the full game on the cartridge. Whoa, thanks Bethesda. Where did that come from? It's the only physical copy of the game, and it's coming to the Switch 2. And God, here's to hoping GTA 6 actually comes on the Switch 2. There's millions of rumours all over the internet about the Switch 2 and GTA 6. And I'm on the cautious side that if the Series S can run it, I think they will run it on the Switch 2, because a lot of people can only afford a Switch 2, and I think they'll do a game keycard. I don't think they'll do digital only on the Switch 2. I think they will do a cartridge, just out of nowhere, and then, you know, watch that be the highest selling copy of GTA 6 over the digital ones. Yeah, one can hope. Anyways, have a fabulous morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you're watching me ramble. Thanks for driving to work with me. I'm off to make hot chocolates. It's our Matariki celebration at the moment at school. And all of our families are coming in to see the learning their kids have done. So, yeah, have a fabulous day, guys. Thanks for listening. Ka kite.